What are operators? Operators in that are special symbols or keywords used to perform operations on data. Whether it's adding numbers, comparing values, or working with logic, that as operator for the job. But before we dive deep into what operators are and the examples of operator, let's quickly talk about an expression. What is an expression? An expression is a special kind of statement that evaluates to a value. Every expression is composed of the operand and operator. The operand represents the data, while operator defines how the operands will be processed to produce a value. Let's consider this following expression. The 2 and the 3 are operands, and the symbol addition, which is plus, also is the operator. Now, the types of operators in that. The first one is the arithmetic operator. The arithmetic operator performs basic mathematical calculations. We have 10 plus 5, which is the addition, 10 minus 5, subtraction, 10 multiplied by 5, which is the multiplication, 10 divided by 5, which is division, and then 10 modulus 3, which is modulus. Now, what does this modulus means? This modulus simply means that divide 10 by 3, and then the remainder, which is going to be 1, we are going to print it out. Then we have 10 integer division 3. What does this mean? You divide 10 by 3, which is going to give us 3 remainder 1, and then you're going to print out the whole integer, which is 3. It's not going to print out the remainder, which is 1. So you can see for 10 plus 5, we have 15. For 10 minus 5, we have 5. For 10 multiplied by 5, we have 50. And then 10 divided by 5, we have 2.0. And then 10 modulus 3, we have 1. Meaning that 10 can be divided by 3 in 3 places, remainder 1. So we have the remainder here. Then 10 integer division 3, we have 3. Meaning that 10 is divisible by 3 in 3 places. Then the remainder, we don't print it out. The next one is the rational operator, which is also known as comparison. These operators compare two values and return a Boolean result, which can either be true or false. Here we have 10 is greater than 5, which is going to return true. We have 10 is less than 5, which is going to return false. We have 10 greater than or equals to 5, which is going to return true. And then we have 10 less than or equals to 5, which is going to return false. Then we have 10 equals to 5. So this is the equality sign. And then we have 10 not equals to 5. So let's run this. And here you can see our answer. We have true for this, for 10 greater than 5. We have false for 10 less than 5. And then we have true for 10 greater than or equals 5. And then we have false for 10 less than or equals 5, and also we have false for 10 equals to 5, and then for the last one is 10 not equals to 5. So that's how we make use of the rational operators. The next one is the logical operators. Logical operators combine multiple conditions or negate them. So we have an example here. For logical, and the first must be true and the second also must be true. In this scenario whereby we have the first to be true and the second condition to be false, when we run this code now, we're going to get false for this. Then the next one is logical, or the first can be true while the second condition can be false. In logical, or one of the conditions you are comparing against each other must be true. If one is true and the other is false, you still get true as a result. But if both are false, you're going to get false as a result. Then the last one is the logical not. So this gives us a negation of whatever condition you have. Let's run this. So you can see for the first one, we have false, meaning that the true conditions must be true. So if I change this from false to true, and I run it again, you can see this and this are now true. For the logical, or one must be true. So if I change this from true and I make this false now, and I run it again, you can see the first one is true, the last two are false. So this third one, which is the logical not, just give us a negation of whatever condition you have here. So if I change this from true now and I make this false and I run this, so we have true, false, true. So when you're working on real life applications, bear in your mind that this is a demo. So when you're working on real life operation, you might have something like, let's say 4 is greater than 2, and then we can have this to be 5 is equals to 5. And for the next one here, we can have any condition here. So let's say we have 7 is greater than 5, and this is 5 is greater than 10, which will give us false. And then let's leave this like this. Let's run this again. So all are true. 4 is greater than 2 and 5 is equals to 5. Remember, this is true and this is true, and that's why we have true for the first one. The next one is 7 is greater than 5, which is true, but 5 is not greater than 10. It is false. But one, we just need to have one condition to be true. And then for the last one, which is false, a negation of it will give us true. So that's how the logical operators work in that. And lastly, before I move on to the next one, you are allowed to combine more than just two conditions together. So let's say, let me note this. So I can come here now and then I can have or, and let me have false here. So if I run this now, you can see we have true here. So this is true, both becomes true, and then true or false, one is true, so we have true here. So you are permitted to combine multiple logical operators together to get the desired results you need. The next one is the assignment operators. These operators are used to assign values to variables. They often come with additional functionality. Now let's look at an example. Here on my screen, I have a variable integer which stores the value 5. Now I want to add 3 to it. The normal way to do that is to say a equals to a, which is 5 plus 3, and then we can get it. But we have a shorter way of doing that by using the assignment operator. We can simply say a plus equals 3, and we will still get the same results. The next one is a equals to a minus 2. A is 5, and then we can say a minus. So the new value of a is 8. So 8 minus 2, we have 6. So instead of writing like this, we can simply say a minus equals to 2, and then we'll get our answer. And the same thing goes for this. Instead of saying a multiplied by 4, we can have a multiply equals 4, and we get the same result. And the same thing applies to the integer division and also the modulus. We can simply say a modulus equals 3, and we'll get the same result. So let's run this. So we have 0. So here we have a plus 3, which is 5 plus 3, which is 8. 8 minus 2, which is 6. And then 6 multiplied by 4, which is 24. And then 24 integer divided by 2. We have 12. And then 12 modulus 3. We have 0. Because 12 is divisible by 3, we're going to get 3 as the whole number, and then we're going to have 0 as the remainder, and that's why we have 0 here. The next one is the null-aware operator. We can handle null values gracefully using this operator. We have a variable a which has null value, and here we're trying to print a. So in a situation whereby a is null, kindly return 5. This is the null coalescing operator. So what this does is that if a is null, it's going to return 5 as a value of a. So it helps us to avoid having null when we run our code. The next one is the null-assign operator. What this does is that if a is null, it's going to assign this value to a. So let's run our code now. So you can see here I have 5 printed out instead of null, and here I have 10 assigned to a because a is null. And the last operator which I'm going to be talking about in this tutorial is the type test operator. So what this helps us with is that it helps us to check a type of an object. So for example, here I have a variable which is s, and then I assign a value 10 to it. I didn't make use of the data type, which is integer here. I just make use of the var keyword. Now I want to check the data type of variable s. In order to do that, I can say s is integer, and here I'm going to get true because truly s is an integer. And if I come here and I say s is not strings, which is also true, we are checking if s is not a string, and then we are going to get true. So let's run this. As you can see, for the to print statement, we have true for it. S is an integer, which is true, and s is not strings, which is true. So that's how we make use of the type test operator. We use to check the type of an object. Operators are essential tools that help you manipulate data, perform calculation, and make decisions in your DAT program. By understanding this operator, you have the foundation to build more complex logic in your application. And that's it for today's tutorial on that operator. We've covered arithmetic operators, rational operator, logical operator, assignment operator, and even null-aware operator. Try them out in your code and see how they work. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more DAT and Flutter content. See you in the next video.